Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the show. It's a special edition, a Tottenham beating version of the Bobby Moore stand. We had a lovely trip over to North London yesterday. Me and Chris had two entirely different experiences, both good. Got some video footage to share with you as well. I think my prediction was absolutely bang on as usual, wasn't it, Chris?
Oh, God. You had to go there, didn't you? Straight away, you had to go there.
Why miss an opportunity, Chris? Why miss an opportunity to gloat? Yes, if I'd have had time, I'd have actually clipped the video from the other night to put it at the front of the show, but I didn't. So there you go. How you doing anyway? You over it yet?
No, I'm not. I'm really happy. Obviously, why not? We've not had enough of these moments. So no. I think it was just a brilliant day yesterday. And you know, people kind of pipe up and say, "Well, you're still going to get relegated." You know what? We might still get relegated, but you know, we've got to take these moments and enjoy them because they're few and far between. So. I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy. And you never know. You never know. It could spark a revival.
It could do. It could do. You never know. But I don't know what's happened here. I mean, controls have all gone bandy on the right-hand side of StreamYard, which is great. Thanks, StreamYard. You're my hero. You know, but what I was hoping to share with you was a few photos. But now the scroll bar ain't moving up and down anymore. Seems to have frozen. Brilliant. Thank you, StreamYard.
Technology at its finest,
yeah,
as always.
Let me share with you first of all. This is my view from the prawn sandwich of the goal, followed by the celebration. We were on the halfway line, opposite, in pretty much the best seats, just along from Alvin Martin. Right. So here's the magic moment.
Wilson. What would you say? Is it Wilson? Number 9? Yeah, Wilson. I didn't get the video. Didn't get it on.
Now, I know what you experienced there because I experienced it before when Antonio scored that goal a few years ago, and there's nothing quite as sweet in West Ham supporters' life than first of all singing "It's happening again" and then singing "It's happened again" to Tottenham. Now, I know you sang "It's happened again." Did you get to sing the other one? Did you do the double, Chris?
Mate, I sang so much yesterday, I can't even remember. Like, honestly, last night and that little vlog that I put together, you probably tell by my voice, it was hurting. You know, it's recovered a bit today. But I got to say, mate, I mean, it's great that you got to go to the game first and foremost, but to not celebrate, to not be able to celebrate a last-minute winner against Spurs.
Oh, we celebrated. Fuck me, we celebrated, but in a very subtle way. Carry on.
But you know what I mean? Like, to do it in a subtle way, because you're holding the camera, filming.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing. These guys in the prawn sandwich, right? It's very, very. It's quiet over there, right? When Bowen had the goal disallowed earlier, I did celebrate. I did what I did at Man U. Yes, and then wound it back in again. Got looked at. Anyway, everyone from that point on, everyone knew who was who, right?
Yeah.
And from that point on, we were chatting. It was clear they thought their team was shit, right?
Yeah.
They thought the ground was toxic, and we just ended up having a chat to them. When that winning goal went in, I sort of went. I celebrated because it was like, and then we started walking out and everyone was laughing. All the West Ham fans were laughing. A few, because you know what it's like, right? You're walking out the back, there's probably 80% Spurs fans miserable and there's 20% big smiles on the faces. So me and Paul went out to intercept Alvin Martin on his way in, right? Because he was beaming from ear to ear. And the minute he walked through the door, I said, I didn't sing it. I said, he's got no hair and we don't care. Alvin Martin. And he said, you've got enough hair for the two of us. I said, yeah. But anyway, we had a lovely chat with him. What a lovely bloke. I would show you the photo, but I can't because my scroll bar's fucked.
Can I just ask you, actually, because you just shared your footage from when we scored. Yeah. You saw my footage, didn't you? Have you got that by any chance?
I've got your video. Your
no,
vlog.
not the vlog. Not the vlog. I'm talking about the actual footage of the goal because I filmed that goal as well. Yeah. And you can see the difference between celebrations between sitting in the prawn sandwich lounge and standing, because honestly, mate, when we scored that goal, I've got to tell you now, it was like this sense of relief, like unbelievable relief. But it was just a feeling of just, I mean, honestly, I actually can't describe how I felt. But what I can say is I was standing on my seat. Fred was standing on his seat. Yeah. There was a geezer standing next to Fred. He took his top off, like took his whole shirt off. He was like literally half naked. There's another geezer down at the front, also took his top off. it was going off, Gal. It was so good. And so I filmed the goal. Then after that, my camera's all over the place. I was wearing my glasses because I'm short-sighted. They were like sideways on my head. Honestly, it was brilliant. It was such a great feeling. And I mean,
I know exactly the feeling because I was there for the Antonio goal, and that was fucking mad. It was mental, right?
But last minute, though, Gal. Last minute is.
I know, but the thing is, the beautiful thing about that ground is you've got Spurs all around you, up the top, and everything else when you're in that section, and they're quite touchy, aren't they? The Spurs.
Oh, just a little bit. Just a little bit. It made me laugh actually because, I'll tell you what was really funny. Yeah. So obviously we went one up. And we deservedly went one up, and we should have been probably a couple by half time, okay?
Yeah.
But when they actually scored their equaliser, and by the way, you know this as well, Spurs fans silence throughout the whole game, right? Yeah. Silence. And they scored their equaliser, and suddenly, the next thing you know, you've got loads of knobheads hanging off of, the tier above us, literally giving it, like, you wanker and all, everything, every expletive you can think of, like proper, like calling you out.
Yeah.
And you're like, whatever. And I filmed a few of them. I thought, you know what, you muppets, I'll film you anyway, like that. I was just laughing. And then when we obviously scored the winner in the last minute, I looked over and there was nowhere. They must have all been sat in their seats like, oh, God. Fred did say that there was one kid that he spotted, a ginger fella or ginger kid, I don't know. And he was giving it to Fred. So he spotted Fred. He was giving, Fred all the usual hand signals, expletives, this, that and the other. Yeah. And then when West Ham scored the winner, Fred looked back up there and that ginger kid was there. And he looked back and he had a little sort of wry smile on him as if to say, yeah, you know what? Yeah. I can't say anything now, I can't.
I got to say, the ones up in the prawn sandwich, they were a bit nicer. They're understanding. I kind of expected the loss. They expected it, to be fair. I mean, big time. I didn't know how bad Spurs were, but their defence just fell to pieces, didn't it, in that first half? They were vulnerable as hell. Let's have a quick look at your blog before we talk about the game, yeah? Because it's, what is it, 1 minute something, 1 minute 56 or something?
I don't know what it is, something like that, yeah. It's already on the channel, mate, but yeah, you can stick on it.
A chance to hear your voice again, Chris, which I know you like.
Tottenham away for their cup final, another must-win for West Ham. Of course, that's kind of obvious. Was I expecting anything? Absolutely not, but I've been conditioned to think that way. Jumped on the train and made my way over to the dark side of London. West Ham fans loud as usual, even Ginger Pele was loving the big fat Frank chants. And then on to kick-off. We actually started this match really well and deservedly went in front from a deflected Summerville shot. At this point, I was starving hungry, so after one of the Spuds got injured, I picked up some cold chips and shitty nuggets and made my way back to my seat and saw us dominate the remainder of the first half. We should have gone in at least 2 by half-time. Taty, Summerville and Pablo all had great opportunities to score, so understandably I was a bit worried that we'd do a typical West Ham and pay for those missed opportunities. I became even more worried when I see this geezer warming up, Max Kilman, and then Spurs did come at us a lot more in the second half, although I don't really think they posed a major threat. They did go on to score an equaliser in the 64th minute, and suddenly the silent Spurs fans piped up and started giving it, but I think it's fair to say we had the last laugh today. A few more decent opportunities that we did not put away, and then it was time to bring on our best striker, in my opinion, Calum Wilson, who entered the pitch on the 91st minute, and it did not take long for him to have an impact. In the 93rd minute, a cracking in-swinger from Ollie Scarles called absolute havoc in the Tottenham goal, and Wilson scored with his third touch. Absolute limbs in the away end. Scoring a winner in injury time against the Spuds is the best way to win a game, and that feeling is indescribable. You know what? We deserve that today. Who knows? This might start off a good run of form, and maybe, just maybe, a great escape could be on the cards. Regardless, I'm not going to get carried away, but it is moments like this that you've got to enjoy, and let's face it, we've not had too many of those this season. Anyway, my voice is wrecked. Even outside the station, we were singing non-stop. God knows how this geezer stayed asleep for it all. Anyway, thanks for the 3 points, Tottenham. It's always a pleasure. It's only gone and happened again. Come on, you Irons.
It did. It happened again. It happened again.
Do you know what's really funny about listening to that? Is that sounds like I've got a little bit of helium. And
that's what I'm saying. When did Danny do the voiceover? Because you obviously get him to do the voiceovers afterwards, right?
Do you know the funny thing is, Danny actually said to me the other day, he goes, "You sound different when you do your vlogs." And I was like, "Really?" Because but no, but I'm not putting on. That's my. But then that is like that's kind of sped up a little bit, and I sound like a little bit. That sounds weird. That's not my voice. Well, that ain't my voice. So I was listening to that. I'm like, nah. No. It's like Joe Pasquale all over again, you know?
Yeah, exactly. The bit of Spurs fans, that was, I fucking loved that when we went over there. I loved it because that just adds to it. It just adds to your enjoyment, especially when they've baited you and given you grief. All the way back, I didn't know how many Spurs fans lived in Romford, right? I was getting the train back last night. I got off the train and there was this little loudmouth geezer talking to his mate out loud so everyone could hear, clearly wanted a response, right? Going, We got much more money than them. Our players are worth more than them. Everything, the stadium's better than theirs. Blah, blah, blah. I was thinking, shut up, you prick. Right? I didn't say shut up, you prick, because he didn't deserve it. He didn't deserve it. But, get out of Romford, for fuck's sake. Or support West Ham. No, don't support West Ham. Go somewhere else. Go Hertfordshire. Anyway, that's where they are, isn't it? That's where they are. But it was, how can I say, a proper London derby. How often can you say that?
You can't. I mean, it's a kind of a performance, and the intensity of it. The fact that it probably could have gone either way as well, even though I know that I know that we deserve to win that game. It could have gone either way at the end, but it kind of had it all, really, didn't it? I think it kind of did. I mean, the last minute winners against, I'm not even going to call them a rival, but a London derby, right? Yeah. In their cup final, like I said, it did. The feeling that it doesn't really get much better than that. It doesn't. Like Fred said to me after the game, and he's been talking about it today as well. Yeah, we won't shut up about it. He said, I mean, he goes, I'd pay money like again and again and again just for that feeling, because like I said earlier, we don't get enough of those moments. We don't, and certainly not this season. No, so you have to enjoy it. Yeah, you have to enjoy it. And we definitely enjoyed that yesterday. That's what he did.
Moments. And you know, the last time I did corporate with Paul was because his birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Paul. Last time I did it was last year at home to Arsenal, and you said to me the other night that my stats were meaningless. Well, clearly, Chris, my stats are not meaningless. They're meaningful.
Right, Gary. Okay, you've got it right once in like I don't know how long. Okay, so well done. I'll give you that. You did get it right. Shame you didn't put money on it.
Like I said, it's maintained. That's you said
Gary. There are also many occasions where you said I've got this record. And going to games, and it never worked out. But listen, I'll give you it. You said 2-1. Actually, Fred said 2. There was a lot of people that said 2-1 yesterday, right? They actually did. Right. But fair play, you got the prediction right. And as we spoke about when we're doing our kind of pre-match thing on Friday, I go into every game now expecting a loss, because, as I said before, that way, if we win, get a draw,
you can be surprised.
You get a positive, and there is kind of a bit of method to my madness here, because I kind of feel like I'm glad that I had that kind of feeling, because we got the win. But I've got to tell you, right, just very quickly. So my match day experience, right? So I'm talking pre-match here.
Yeah.
I had a really bad feeling because things weren't really going my way. Okay, so my original plan was I wanted to go into the city, and then from the city I was going to go obviously to Northumberland Park and wherever, and go to the stadium. But my plan was to drive to Shenfield Station, park up. So I drive to Shenfield Station, and the car park is absolutely rammed. And this is like around about 11:30, Gal, right? It's pretty, it's still loads of time. Absolutely packed to the rafters. I'm like, shit, what am I going to do? So there's nowhere else to park around there. I was like, okay, maybe I'll drive to Stratford, park up at Stratford. Then I remembered about Gallows Corner being closed down. All these things. I was like, I'm not going to be able to do this. So in the end, I ended up driving to Epping Station, parked my car up there, got the Central line, and it was a bit rushed at this point. And I was a little bit aggravated. I was a bit cold. Yeah. And then this girl gets on the train, sits opposite me, and she's chewing gum with her mouth open.
That's the worst thing. Washing machine. Washing machine.
You know me. You know what I'm like. I get aggravated by these things. If someone's doing that in front of me, and I turned to Fred, I said, Fred, no, actually, I showed him my phone. I was typing it because I couldn't speak.
That's one of your pet hates, isn't it?
People
with their mouth open.
I hate it. And I showed Fred, I said, look at this, like that. And he looked up and was like, and she was like that. Oh, it was so annoying. And I just thought to myself, today's just not going to go right. This is one of those signs, it's just not going to be a good day for me. But how wrong was I? And
the last time I saw that, right, it was outside Abracadabra in Dublin, late at night when people were drunk, and there was this young couple having a romantic evening, sharing a kebab. She was chewing the kebab, and it was going all round her mouth. You see the washing machine, yeah?
Oh, no.
With half a kebab in her mouth. It was so romantic. Right? You had to be there.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like that. I don't understand why people do it. I'm in a good mood today, but I don't understand why people do that. I mean, this is basic manners, isn't it? Is it not? Yeah. On a train, chewing there with your mouth wide open. I just thought it was going to be a bad day, but like I say, it wasn't. Got to the ground, and it was a magnificent day, and
it was. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, it's a lovely looking ground, but if you think our place is toxic, what's that?
Well, I think Spurs fans, as we said the other day, are very entitled. They think they're owed the world. The funny thing about it is, and there was someone, I'll bring up the comment. I'll bring up this comment very quickly now, because I think it's quite a pertinent comment, actually. And where is it? Sorry, 2 seconds. Here we go. Right, from Paul Houston. So he said, "Evening, lads. I heard the Spuds were protesting against their owners and they chat shite about us." Yeah. There was 100, exactly, 100. But there's so many little moaners in that stadium. It's hilarious. Now, the thing is, I mean, they all want Thomas Frank out. The truth is, I actually think Spurs are pretty poor. I did. They're
rubbish. They're rubbish. But Levy's left, and all the people in the thing up there, they all had a bad opinion of Levy. Think he was, signing deals for the wrong reasons and all that kind of stuff. Getting Solanke for 60 million, for instance,
that's a lot of money. I mean,
that's Solanke, as he was called when he came on.
Was he? Is that what they called him? Yeah. I mean, I thought that what's his face? Who was the striker they had up front yesterday? The geezer they got from PSG on loan. Forget his name now. Anyway, God, that's going to annoy me. Anyway, he Calum Wilson. Yeah. So I thought to myself, he's guaranteed to score against West Ham today because he's gone like 14 games at Spurs, not scored a goal. You know what he's like. We did the same with Isak when he was at, when we played Liverpool. I thought he was going to score, but he was woeful. And honestly, I can't really call out any Spurs players and say, he played well. No. Even Conor Gallagher wasn't particularly effective. Maybe he's used to the pace of the Spanish game,
What made me laugh, they were calling Frank Conor Gallagher's dad. They do look similar, They look similar.
With the hair and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah, it's like an older version of him, Could be.
Yeah.
So I think there were some really great performances. I think if you look at the that first half, it was event-packed. I mean, they had a player stretch it off. There were tackles flying in everywhere. None of it, I mean, they were just solid tackles where people weren't pulling out, right? Which is what you like to see. You don't see that very often in games, do you? And people seem to be, this was Spurs as well. They were giving it their best, but they were just very low on quality. We appeared to have a lot more quality, especially from Summerville, who was constantly fed in that first half. He was the outlet. And it's his third good game in a row. Forest, QPR, now this. He's getting a bit of a run going, and when he's running at you with that pace, there is only one way to deal with him, and that's to bring him down. And he got a few fouls out there yesterday as well, didn't he? Bowen got kicked all over the place. I think if you look at the goal, Chris, Bowen was fouled in the middle, and the referee, for once, played a blinding advantage, didn't he?
Yeah, no, he was. Yeah, he was fouled. I was fuming at that particular moment, but no, going back to Summerville, I think you're absolutely spot on. He's starting to show a bit of end product as well, which is good because that was the one thing that was really kind of frustrating me, and I think pretty much all of us. He'd be great with the ball.
Yeah, but he's being selfish, and you want to see him be selfish because something like that can happen yesterday. He nearly scored 3 goals last week. He had a goal disallowed against Forest. Fucking hell, shoot. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think maybe you needed a bit of luck where, I mean, I don't know whether that shot was going to go in. Obviously, it deflected and went in, but, sometimes you get that bit of luck and suddenly your form takes a bit of an upturn and you start playing really, really well. So you just kind of hope that, you really, really hope that, that performance yesterday is going to kind of spur us on to hopefully get a good result against Sunderland and all those games coming up because it's a great result yesterday.
Yeah. But
the truth is, all eyes for me now are on Sunderland on Saturday because that is massive. Yeah. Absolutely huge. If we lose that, it's back to square one again,
The selection was bang on, I have to say. For the 2 guys up front, Pablo and Castellanos, same opinion as before. He effort. You were going to love him for the effort. Pablo, loads of effort, no quality. That's the difference, right? I mean, that one where he had loads of space and they passed the ball out to him wide left of the penalty area, he miscontrolled it so badly. He miscontrolled it further than most people can kick it.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely spot on because I had this conversation. I can't remember with who. I think I've had this conversation with a few people actually, but I thought Pablo, I actually thought he had a good game, and people were like, "What are you on about?" No, he didn't.
Effort,
and then that's what it came down to was effort because he was tracking back, he was getting stuck in. He went flying on a few occasions, didn't he, when they tried to take him out and stuff. But in terms of effort, I thought, it was a bit of a throwback, is the way I see it, right? With Pablo and Castellanos, Taty, whatever you want to call him, those 2 up front. It was like that kind of big man, little man sort of combination. You know, one was dropping deep, one was a little bit further forward. But they were combining quite well together. Yeah, they were. And it makes such a difference to our attack that we've actually got something in the final third now. Now, I don't know whether these 2 guys are going to be prolific enough to start scoring the goals. But one thing it does do is it actually helps us get further up the pitch. into the final third of the pitch. And you could see that noticeable difference when we've only ever played one up front. It just doesn't really work for us. So I really liked the shape of the team yesterday.
Yes.
And I must admit, I think Pablo, that particular moment that you're referring to, Bowen laid it in. I thought either hit it first time.
Yeah.
But then you could maybe say, just to be a little bit fair to him, it was slightly behind him. I don't know, but he just, a good clinical striker doesn't do that.
It was a woeful first touch, wasn't it?
It was. But look, again, it's a confidence thing. And I think when these guys get their first goals, I know Castellanos has already got his, but when they get their first goals in the Premier League, hopefully you'll see a bit of form there and a bit of confidence, because I think that first goal is such a huge thing, isn't it? Well, it really is.
I reckon that Summerville's confidence began when he put up. I know it was disallowed, but when he got that goal against Forest, right? I'm pretty sure that's where it started. Because from that point on, the geezer's been relentless. He's been taking teams, third team in a row that he's taken to the cleaners when they've given him the ball, which they did in the first half. Now, the midfield two of the central two of Souček and Fernandez, I thought was superb. Fernandez was fantastic. He was everywhere. Thomas Souček was kind of playing as a sweeper some of the time. He was just like, he was constantly breaking stuff up. He was everywhere. That ain't the Thomas Souček we know. But then again, it's a 4-4-2. It ain't some exotic system, right? The two centre halves were wonderful. Mavropanos was everything I've ever described him as, but he actually came true this time. First time, by the way. Tadibo, the burst of pace that he's got is genuinely very, very useful, isn't it?
Who did you say, sorry?
Tadibo, that little burst of pace that he's got.
He's quick. He actually is, and that's one thing I noticed. There was one particular moment where the ball kind of came towards the corner flag, and he was in a bit of a foot race with one of their players, and you could see how much he wanted it. And I was watching him; he's turned a pace. I was like, he's actually quicker than I actually thought he was.
He don't lose foot races. Yeah, he's actually pretty damn quick, genuinely quick.
But those two, though, Gal, I got to say, right, I was so impressed by them yesterday. It was almost like watching prime, I don't know, Maldini and Baresi together, It was like just looked like a solid partnership. And I think when they're on their game, and particularly I think with regards to Tadibo, he's actually shown a lot of decent he's showed quite a few decent performances recently. Mavropanos is a bit hit and miss, but when they play like that,
it only goes wrong for Tadibo when Mavropanos ain't there, right? When he's got to play with Kilman.
But I think it goes wrong for most defenders when they play with Kilman, because almost like you're basically taking two positions, really, aren't you? Because Kilman's just good for nothing.
Oh, for
when
sure.
When I see him warming up, like I said in that vlog, I was thinking, please don't bring this geezer on. Please don't bring him on. But they brought him on at the right time, in fairness, when we went 2-1 up. So,
but for sure. I mean, let's run the clock down. So into the second half, we've had our very deluxe pies at half time and everything else, because the 3-course meal before kickoff wasn't enough food. We came back out, and my worst fears were coming true. Summerville was no longer seeing the ball. We weren't trying to find him, and we seemed to be sitting deep. Will he ever learn, Chris?
I know what you're saying, but I think it was always going to happen where Spurs were going to come out of the second half and have a bit more of a go, because they were crap in the first half.
For 10 minutes, For 10 minutes.
So I anticipated that, and I must admit there were times I was thinking, look, we're way too deep here. We are, but I think the one thing I'm glad about is that Nuno didn't make any kind of changes as such in terms of substitutions, because he's done that before, and what I didn't want him to do was, as we've seen before, take off a striker or something like that. I was a bit worried he might do that and then try and go a little bit defensive and hold on to the 1-goal lead. But
we took Pablo off for Rodriguez after they equalised, and that equaliser, it was a great header. Let's be honest, a great cross and a great header, but Wan-Bissaka's nowhere near the geezer. It's a free header.
Yeah, Danny in the chat said that, and the funny thing is, I've not actually properly watched the highlights back, so I haven't seen that. But he did say he was probably, culpable for that particular one.
It was a beautiful, beautiful whipped-in cross. First time it looped around directly onto the head of Romero, but Wan-Bissaka was a good 2 feet to his left.
Well, look, you're going to get, what we like from crosses anyway, right? It does happen, and I think sadly we're always going to make these kind of mistakes. But I didn't think he was that bad. No,
he wasn't. It was just that one contribution for the goal. That's all. And then towards the end, 90 minutes almost comes up, and we see the hero in waiting, Calum Wilson, 4 goals in 5 before. No, yeah, 4 goals, 1 assist before yesterday. Now 5 goals and 1 assist. The man that Nuno still refused to confirm that he wasn't going to sell after the game. He basically said, "Would you?" This was a bit of a clue, right? They asked him a question, and the geezer on the thingy. I watched this interview, and I think Gio mentioned it as well. But I watched this interview where the interviewer pressed him and basically said something like, has he got a future at the club and everything else? And what do you want to say to Callum about that performance? He said, well, nothing, because he's a professional. He came across as pissed off, you know. But anyway, look, I don't want to put a negative on this, because no way, this is a happy show. We've beat Spurs 2-1. All credit to Calum Wilson, who, if the stories are true, he's all but been bumped out of the team. There's no way he should be second preference behind Pablo at the moment, who is just a kid. I like him, but he is just a kid. It seemed to be like a reluctant last-minute addition. We know for a fact they've tried to sell him to Leicester. They're trying to sell him to Al whatever, and Celtic are interested as well. How the hell are we trying to sell that player?
No, it's madness. It's absolute madness. Whether I would start him or not, I probably would start him, but then I do think that having Pablo on, it does kind of tire the defenders a little bit. So maybe bringing Wilson on as an impact sub, like 60th minute or something like that, where he's still got a good chunk of the game to play. And that might be a good option for us to have. But yeah, of course. I mean, I think Wilson, for me, like I said already to you before, I think he's our best striker. I don't know enough about Castellanos, and I don't know enough about, Pablo to say that they're any better than him. But you're talking about a bloke that's got a lot of Premier League experience. You know that he's clinical. He's given half a chance, he'll score it. He knows how to get into the right positions. He knows how to make the right runs. He's very, very intelligent in terms of how he plays. It's just a fitness issue with him. So to get rid of him would be criminal, actually, because we're in a relegation scrap here. We need to have as much firepower as we've possibly got. Taking him out of the equation would be stupid. It would be.
You know where that ball ends up, the one that Taty missed, if that's on Wilson's head.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, if Bowen laid that off to Wilson in that position, he hits a target. There's no, good first touch, he hits a target. But Taty though, he had a few good chances yesterday, and there was one scissor kick that he did.
I don't mind him at all. I think he's a good pro. His work ethic's fantastic. I think he's quite a neat and tidy footballer. He hasn't got much pace, but I don't think he's going to be a player that you're going to be pissed off at seeing in the lineup, right? I think he deserves a place. And I would have been happy, really happy, SD, if Calum Wilson had come on with 20 minutes to go.
Yeah, do you know what? That really wound me up, actually, because when they took off,
I thought he was playing for the draw. He's brought fucking Guido on.
It didn't make it. I was really annoyed about that, because I thought just do a like-for-like sub. It's working. Keep 2 up front. It's working. Because I think with regards to Taty, I agree with you. I think he looks like quite a tidy football player, but I think he needs someone around him, someone partnering him. I think he's going to be more effective, as was proven yesterday, because otherwise he ends up chasing shadows. His work rate, you can't question his work rate. No. But I think he definitely needs someone with him. So to take off Pablo and to bring on Guido Rodriguez, I was thinking, Christ, why are we doing this? So I kind of feel that Nuno got away with one a little bit there, because
big time, because he swapped out Castellanos for Wilson, because they clearly weren't really going for it, right? But Wilson, 2 shots could have been, he nearly scored before he scored.
It's funny because that was right in front of me, and I don't know why I couldn't even see the defender, but when he took it down and he took the shot, I was like, that's a goal. And then like out of nowhere, I'll see obviously the defender block him, but I have seen that one back, and I don't know. I mean, should he have scored that? Maybe, but you know what? He made up for it with the corner that he got from that shot anyway. So I'm not really fussed. We've got 3 points. Who cares?
By the way, I've got a video out of a little bit of left field earlier that I'll share at the end, because I don't want to bore you at the beginning of it, right? And you have to stick with it for 30 seconds to see the payoff just before I play the outro, right? You'll enjoy it. Just to tell you, oh, by the way, if you haven't subscribed to the Bobby Moore Stand so far, please do. Hit the bell notification icon. And what else, Chris? Hype it. Give the video a like and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, if you could do.
Yeah, like what? Like I never say this actually, but liking videos is such an easy thing to do. You just click a button, right? You just click a button. Obviously, if you don't like it, you don't click it. But if you do and you're watching it, then you know what? If you're watching it for more than 5 minutes, like it. Why not? Don't cost you anything.
Worst of all, last night, Arsenal went and let us down. One game we want to see Arsenal win, they don't win.
I know, it is typical though, isn't it? I mean, I was in the end, I was kind of glad that they Forest didn't win the game, because I was a bit worried that would happen, because it would have counted for nothing in some respects. But look, they got a point, and they've still got a tough run of games to come as well. They've got some tough teams in there.
They do.
I think we've got a kind of. I mean, I'm kind of culpable for this as well. I mean, I do look at the other teams' results. I was looking at Leeds, but I think they're getting away from it now. I think it's going to be between us and Forest. In truth, I can't see how Leeds are going to get pushed back down into this. But I've got to stop looking at Forest's results. I think we just need to focus on ourselves and look at West Ham.
That's looking at any results. Right? No. Whatever will be, will be. If we win the next game, it's winnable at home to Sunderland. I don't care what anyone says. It's winnable. If we go about it the right way, a point is no good in these games. We need 3. If we get 3, we go to 20. 20 from 23 games, which is a few games behind where we need to be. We've got a lot of ground to make up. But get to 20, next target's 30, right? Just got to carry on that way, and it will sort itself out, all the other results and the other teams, as long as we win games. But let's not get carried away. This is one game against a very poor Spurs team.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, I still feel like we're going to go down. So I'll be more than happy to be proven right. But I think you're right. And I remember when Sam Allardyce was our manager, and I remember him saying that the way he kind of looked at, kind of points accumulation is that he blocked out the season into like every 2 months. Whatever it was. And so he'd want X number of points within each of those kind of segments, right? So we need to look at it like that, but within each month that we've got left of the season, because we can't be just chasing out. I mean, we're chasing now to get points right, but we need to look at exactly how many points we need to get and what that's going to translate in terms of the amount of months we've got left of the season. We just have to do that. But ultimately, what it comes down to is trying to get points out of every flipping game now. Every game. I mean,
and we can't afford any injuries, because we're bare bones, right? We're bare bones. One centre half injury, we're knackered. We're screwed. One injury to Summerville, we've got no outlet, right? The strikers, they've just got here. They've just come off injuries as well. Use the term strikers loosely. Right, let's do, because we don't want to have a long show tonight. So let me
just go through some of these comments first, Gal, because I feel like I've been ignoring the chat.
Player ratings, yeah?
Yeah. Okay, right. I bet those cold nuggets and chips, they tasted disgusting, by the way. I've got to tell you, that food at Spurs is actually all right, but it was freezing cold. I weren't a big fan of that at all. I think about £11.50 for about 3 nuggets and a portion of chips, Gal. It's extortion, isn't it?
I had a fillet steak, and they had the guy in from fillet steak. I don't, but they had the guy in from the Hippodrome to.
Mate, I don't care what
the restaurant now.
I don't care what you had. I got to celebrate with the away fans. You got to celebrate with the soups and the prawn sandwiches.
Halibut starter.
Yeah. Right. Did you see the Spurs fans who got behind Summerville yelling their heads off at him when he had the corner? I did see that, actually. And I thought you could. It was one. I think one Spurs fan in particular that was leaning over the boards, weren't he? Having a proper.
If you're Summerville, though, Chris, you're loving that, right? You're loving it.
Yeah, Declan Rice loves it. They did it to him a lot, actually. They done it to him at Chelsea the other week, and he got an assist from the corner, which is hilarious. Evening poll. Yeah, I think I already put this one up. Yeah, they did protest against their own issue, right?
100 of them, Paul, out of their 60,000 fans.
Yeah. Randy, good evening. Wilson still better as an option. Still think another striker is needed as Taty is a 10, but can play up front. But still need the centre back plus wingers plus another 10 or box. So we need quite a lot there, Randy. But yeah, you're right. I think we need to keep Wilson. I think that is key. And I think I've seen a lot of comments, and I'm purposely not going through all of these, but a lot of people are mentioning and calling out Wilson, because I think it's significantly important that we keep hold of him. It really is, honestly. I think he could be the difference between us staying up and going down, or maybe getting close to staying up. Let's put it that way.
Sorry, can I just take one comment?
There you go.
This time next year, John, you never know. This time next year.
He who dares.
Yeah, he who dares.
Well, so we got it was great to see us win, especially against the Spuds. We were a different team in the first half. What was the difference? Personally, I think Paco Hemes. Oh, the attacking coach joined us. That's you know what? That's a fair point, because
yeah.
I mean, whether or not he would have been that influential. I mean, how long has he been with us? 3 days? I don't know.
Gio mentioned something about Pablo's game. And again, I haven't watched it back like you, but he said that what Pablo was doing was literally they were launching the ball at him, and Jimmy was running onto the knockdowns. Now, I never noticed that, but I'll have to have a look.
He was. Yeah, he was. I said, I think in terms of his hold-up play and his aerial ability, he looked pretty good. He did. Right. So I think there is potential there. Let's put it that way. There's definitely some potential there. Pierre Letom is saying he would take Levy over Sully. I think that's probably every single person in the chat agreeing with you on that.
I think so. But when you speak to the Spurs fans about what Levy did, there's a lot of similarities. Let me tell you.
Well, I
On
think
a bigger scale, there's a lot of similarities. I mean, the stadium, he's done a wonderful job with the stadium. Let's be honest. But they don't half pay for it. Fuck me, they paid for it.
I think we can trump him on that, Gal. I'm sorry. Yeah. I think we could trump him on that. I'll take pretty much anyone over David Sullivan.
Yeah, so would I. So would I.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Evening, Steve. I reckon if we play like that in the next games, we can beat Sunderland and Burnley and get a point at the Rent boys.
Well, we're going there, aren't we? We're going to Chelsea, aren't we? So
yeah. That game, I'm really looking forward to that one. I don't usually look forward to games, actually, but after that result yesterday, I'm actually looking forward to the games. But that could all kind of go away and fade away and diminish if we don't get something out of Sunderland, because the way I see it, 3 points against Sunderland, absolutely essential. Then we go into the Chelsea game. I think it's all to play for. If we can get 4 points out of the next two games, I think we're in with a chance. But I do think that we need to get 4 points out of the next two.
Last few times I've been to Chelsea, we've been stuffed, right? I think 3 times we've been stuffed. One was a last-minute goal. Last year, that was that one in Moyes' last season where we got absolutely trashed by half time. And there was the one last year where they got the lucky, fluky VAR winner. Yeah. Well,
we played well because we were at that game, weren't we?
We
played really well against Chelsea that day. I think even Andy Irving had a pretty good game as well.
Yeah.
But let me just fly through some of these quickly. Go right. I think Pablo can start. They can still start, but Wilson must come on soon around 60. I totally agree with that. I think he can't just bring him on for a couple of minutes. We got lucky yesterday. But yeah, I think he deserves more minutes on the pitch than that, and I think he will prove to be a lot more effective if we do that.
We did deserve a bit of luck, though. We've had none lately, and VAR got on that goal straight after, didn't they? That winning goal, and tried to find a reason to rule it out.
Oh, I can't handle the stress of it, Gal. All these the VAR decisions, honestly. But thankfully, it worked in our favour, that one. But there was no way that was going to be ruled out. No way. I was right in front of it. I reckon Summerville will have his sights on a late call up to the Dutch squad for the World Cup. He made Simons look a complete waste of money. I agree.
On that form, he's timing it perfectly. Let's be honest.
It's true.
I'll take him.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to get that excited over 3 games, Gal. He needs to prove it between now and the end of the season.
Three games is a run, though. It's not one game. It's not flash in the pan. It's not just QPR, is it? It's Forest, QPR, Spurs. Let's see what happens next game. Sunderland is an acid test because they are neither one of the top sides or one of the bottom sides. They are very much an upper mid-table side, very reliable. Give us a tonking on the opening day.
Yeah,
we need to get one back because we could have beaten them in the first half. It went wrong in the second half up there, if you remember.
Yeah, well, I was a bit jet lagged that day, but I did watch it and.
If I remember right, they got a few corners towards the end of the first half when it was 0-0 and started getting a lot of possession, and they came out and just continued it second half and battered us.
Yeah. I mean, but Sunderland are a good team, and as Fred told me earlier on today, they're unbeaten. Well, not that obviously we're playing them away, already played them away, but they're unbeaten at home all season. You know that? That's incredible for a newly promoted team.
I know. Unreal. No, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant, and
it really is.
They've been a long time in the wilderness, so. Good luck to them, but not.
Well, no, not this week, not this coming weekend. Danny, the club must make sure they hang on to Wilson now. He will be, he will be, like I said before, 100%, mate. Totally agree. Yeah.
Start with the player rankings in a sec, yeah.
Yeah, last one, mate. Nuno's mentality of score and then keep a clean sheet rather than keep pushing on as it hurts us when it comes to building momentum. As he's so fixated on a clean sheet, that does always worry me. I must admit, you can't at these games. You need to be getting points. We need to be getting 3 points out of this, and sometimes when you're playing for a draw. Which he seems to do a lot, or try and hang on to a 1-goal lead. It's a very dangerous game, that is. Very dangerous game.
It really is. I'm hoping one of these games he learns, because he comes unstuck literally every time he does it, right? I think that's the first time we've lost a lead and then won. Correct me if I'm wrong. You
might be right. Probably are right, because we've been shit this season. So, you probably are right. But, go on, let's crack on and move on to the player ratings anyway.
So, and there are a lot of fucking good performances in here, so I expect some high scores, respectable high scores. Alphonse Francis Areola, what a great double save to basically turn the outcome of that game in the first half. The double save,
good
game. 8 out of 10 for that alone, and he made a load of other saves as well. I'm going to give him 8 out of 10.
I mean, I think pretty much everyone's going to have a high score today. So I'll agree with you. I'll say a very, very strong 8. Yeah, for sure.
Yep. Excellent. Lots of 8s coming in.
Let's go to right back. Let's go to AWB first, right? Aaron Wan-Bissaka. What do you think about this? I'm actually intrigued to see what the chat say about AWP. Like we said, you know, maybe he was at fault a little bit for the first goal, but other than that, his whole round kind of game yesterday. What do you think?
I thought we had a good game, but he was the weakest of the back four. But because I thought what Scarles lacks in pace, he makes up with, it seems, through positioning, because his positioning is actually pretty good. Scarles, maybe that's something he's learned because of his lack of pace. It must have been really, you know, makes sense, doesn't it? So yeah, I would. I mean, people are giving him a 7. I'd probably give Scarles a 7, and I'd give AWB a 6.5. If I'm
we're doing a double, yeah. I mean, Danny's giving him a 5, right? I mean, I spoke to Danny about him yesterday. I mean, that's a little bit harsh, mate, but I get it because he was a mistake for a goal. But I think other than that, I don't think he was that bad. I think he gave the ball away 1 or 2 times. But actually, having said that, I have a
problem with this comment, though, Iron Disciple. There is no time for growing into a London derby.
You know, one thing I will say, actually, and I did say this yesterday, was I did notice that a few of the threats that we were getting were coming from our right side, their left side. So their player, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he had a couple of shots on goal, but he seemed to have a decent amount of space coming in on our right-hand side. So I think that is quite possibly a situation whereby maybe AWB was at kind of mistake, or maybe he was given a bit too much space to their winger. I don't know.
Is that the geezer who put one about 20 meters over the bar and back?
He had a couple of stinking shots, didn't he? But I'm going to give AWB. I'm going to give him. I'm not going to be so harsh. I'm going to give him a 6.5, but maybe even a 7. Yeah.
You know what? When he did that shot, because he was quite quiet up in the box. When he did that shot, as soon as it's a few seconds later, I said, "Good effort." They all laughed. It was fucking high and wide.
Yeah, it was crap, mate. It was crap. Yeah. But yeah, as for Ollie Scarles, did you give him a 7?
I give him a 7. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go higher than that. I'm going to give him an 8 because I thought we had a pretty good game yesterday. I do. You know, I thought he got stuck in.
I'm not against an 8. I think he probably deserves it. He's picked himself up after that diabolical game he had. Came back, was the man of the match in the next game, and he's been really solid ever since. I think he's done a lot of growing this year.
I'm probably giving him an 8 also because of that particular, you know, thing that you mentioned there, the fact that he had let's say a stinker, but he was at mistake for obviously the goal, you know, a few weeks back.
He knows what the game means as well. He knows what the game means.
Those moments can break you as a player, and it can absolutely do your confidence in. But this guy's come back fighting, and I think he's had a couple of really good games. So Ollie Scarles gets an 8 for me. Let's move to the centre back scale. Mavropanos and Tadibo.
Now for me yesterday, Mavropanos had to be my man of the match, and that hasn't happened very often, even though I love the man. I'll give him a 9. I thought he was flawless.
Get that shirt on your wall. Now is the time. Now is the time, mate. Come on.
Performances like that, Chris, is coming out.
I've got a Kilman shirt if you want that one. But yeah, Mavropanos, I'll give him a 9. I thought he was exceptional yesterday. Won everything pretty much in the air. He got hacked down a few times as well, didn't he? I think he got it was a relatively physical game for him yesterday, and I think he holds his own in that respect. He had a really good game. So best performance I've seen from Dinos in a while. Easy 9 for me. Would he be my man of the match? I don't know if he's my man. I mean, there are a few possible contenders, but I'll come on to that in a minute. Tadibo, again, equally, I thought was a very, very good yesterday.
I loved Tadibo's performance. I really did. That acceleration, that bit of pace to get yourself out of trouble. You know, we've been missing that. That's all that. He was a geezer who couldn't head a ball to save his life. Agued, he had all the pace in the world, didn't he? I think he's faster, Tadibo.
I don't know about that. I don't think he's faster than Agued, but he's proven to be a better player than him at the moment. You know, he definitely is.
Yeah. So I'd give him an 8.5 because I want to give Dinos. No, I'll give them both 9s. They deserve it. They were both fucking. They were flawless as a pair yesterday. But I'm giving it out of the 2. I'm giving Mav because I'm heavily biased, right?
Yeah, well, look, you give Dinos a 9 or whatever, and I would agree. I thought Tadibo was exceptional yesterday as well. I think as a partnership they worked really well together. I'll give him an 8.5, and maybe Dinos just gets the edge on him for this game. But they were both excellent yesterday.
I find that when Tadibo zones in on something, you know he's going to win it. When you see him going for something and he's fucking focused on it, you know he's going to win it and come out with a ball. He very rarely doesn't.
Well, he certainly was yesterday. That's for sure. He was. Let's look at the. Let's go to the midfield then, Gal. Right. So what we had. Let's go
and Fernandez in midfield. So Souček, I thought was outstanding. I got to be honest. totally outstanding. I couldn't find a fault with his game yesterday, playing in that role as kind of breaking up. But I think the formation helped him because he wasn't, stuck there doing something he's not familiar with. This was bread and butter 4-4-2 football for him, right?
Yeah, mate. It's funny actually because with Souček, when just before the game kicked off, when the players run over to the fans and they clap them and all that kind of stuff, Souček ran over to the away fans and he just kind of put his fist up as if to say, "We're going to." And I turned to Fred and I said to him, "I think he's going to have a really good game today." I actually thought he might score yesterday, even though he didn't look close and didn't have a chance to score. But there was something about him yesterday. Even before he kicked the ball, I had a feeling he was going to have a good game. I genuinely said that, and I was because he just I know players go up to fans clapping all that kind of crap, but he just went up. He's like, "Yes, come on, we've got this," sort of thing. And I thought he was brilliant. He was. I thought he was brilliant yesterday. Actually, Gal. I really, really liked his performance. I don't really remember him losing the ball too much, but I'll tell you what,
I don't think he did. I don't think he did. I think he was pretty flawless as well, to be honest.
Yeah,
all the nasty stuff, right? All the nasty stuff.
He covered a lot of ground yesterday, Gary. Yeah. A lot of ground. I was watching, as you know, I'm a bit weird in the sense that I watch players when they haven't got the ball just to see what their work rate's like off the ball. Yeah. And he was moving a lot. Like, honestly, he was running around that pitch a lot. So for me, I'm going to give Souček, and I don't think he gets enough credit or praise at West Ham. And we've all been responsible for digging him out. We have. Yeah. I'm going to go up there and I'm going to give him an 8.5, maybe even a 9 as well. I thought he was really good yesterday.
Yeah, I'll give him an 8.5. I'll give him an 8.5. I'm tempted to give him a 9 because he arguably deserves it. But anyway,
work rate, endeavour, all of those things, mate. He had an abundance yesterday.
Could you ask him to do any more? No. So I guess on that, but I can't give everybody a 9. So I'm going to go. I've got to differentiate a little bit, and the reason for that is Fernandez is playing next to him, who I thought was marvellous yesterday.
Yeah, he was mustard, mate. I would give, all right, so I'm going to review my scores here because I thought Souček, maybe I'm getting a bit excited here, but Souček, I would give him an 8, a very, very strong 8. And I'm going to give Fernandez, who I thought was brilliant as well, but edged it over Souček because he was getting stuck in and everything. So I'm going to give him a 9. I thought he was probably, for me...
Such a good player. He's such a good player.
For me, I'm going to say he was my personal man of the match, actually, Fernandez.
Yeah.
I don't know what other people say, but that's my opinion. I thought he was our man of the match yesterday. But there were a couple.
No. Listen, I agree with you. I was torn between him and Mavropanos, but Mavropanos' performance was such a shock, whereas Fernandez's wasn't. Right. So I'm gonna. That's why I go for him. But Fernandez can be man of the match in most games, right? He really can. He is an exceptional talent that we've got there, and if we do go down and we're forced to sell players, that one will hurt a little bit. That'll sting.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, the fact that he's only 21, I think still.
He's all heart, he's all heart. And not only heart, but talent. I mean, proper grown-up footballing talent who can drive a game, who can set the tempo, who can do pretty much anything. Long passing, short passing, he can tackle. He tackles hard as well, right? He doesn't pull out. Geezer's got every attribute that you want in a footballer.
Yes, and he's not the biggest guy either, but yet he does get stuck in. I mean, he got laid out a couple of times yesterday, didn't he? I think even the first 5 minutes he was down. But yeah, for me, man,
he and Tadibo, can I say, he and Tadibo are the ones, when a player gets dug out, they're the ones that get in the face of the opposition.
Particularly Fernandez, actually. Yes. I see that a lot with him. He doesn't take any shit, Fernandez. He doesn't like it.
I think it all started down at Bournemouth when I think... Tadibo when they had to go at the home dugout, didn't he? Do you remember?
Yeah. I do remember. but that is what you want, and it's really good to see that you got that fight and that spirit. I mean, again, this needs to continue in the upcoming games. But yesterday, Fernandez, Souček, Tadibo, Mavropanos, there was proper fight there. There were, and obviously some of the other players as well. But with those guys in particular, I just felt that they were really up for it yesterday. Physically, mentally, the lot, and that's all you can ask for, isn't it? Like we always say.
Well, we said after the Tottenham game at home and the Chelsea game at home, we didn't play those games like they were London derbies because we didn't, did we?
No, we didn't. We played them like they're fucking pre-season friendlies, mate. That's what we did. Yeah, we're good enough.
Let's hope we go to Chelsea in a few weeks and approach it the same way.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's look at the wingers anyway. Right. So Jared Bowen. Let's talk about Bowen, our captain. What do you think about him yesterday?
That was a team performance from Bowen, right? He did what was best for the team. He did the dirty work in the middle, carrying the ball, taking the attention of the defenders, playing others in. He always runs with the ball. Whenever he gets an opportunity, he always runs with the ball. He was really busy. He must have made, I don't know how many runs he made on a wing, but there were bloody lots of them. I'd give him, I think that's a better performance. No goal, but a better performance than I've seen for some time. He had a goal disallowed. I'll give him an 8.
Cool.
It was almost complete performance, I think, from him.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I couldn't be critical of his performance. He got kicked all over the pitch.
He did, but look, it was a better performance than recent weeks. But then in recent weeks, he's been very, very poor. I mean, in recent weeks, I'd be hard pushed to give him a 5 on some of his performances.
Yeah,
but I thought yesterday he was better, but I can't give him any more than a 7, Gal. I can't because his work rate can't be questioned. He was tracking back, he was helping out the fullbacks, and he was getting stuck in and everything else. I think the problem with Bowen sometimes is that it's that lack of pace a little bit. You know, there was a few occasions when he tried to take on the fullback, and he just does not have the pace to get past him. But that's always been the case with Bowen.
The fullback, though, the Spurs geezer said next to me, he's kind of a bit of a superstar.
Yeah, Jed Spence.
Yeah, the one over on who's playing left back.
Yeah, well, he came on, didn't he, for Ben Davies? I think Bowen would have had more luck against Ben Davies than he would against Jed Spence.
Yes, they rate Spence a lot, and Bowen couldn't get near him for pace. He couldn't, and there's not much he can do about that. But at the same time, always causing trouble, and you knock him down, he gets up and he goes again, and that's what I like about Bowen. Let's talk about the strikers. Let's talk about, first of all.
Well, let's go back. We're working our way up the pitch. Summerville. Summerville.
Yeah. Bloody hell, Jimmy! How can I forget that? Yeah, Jimmy was. I mean, look, if he played 2 halves like he did in the first half, and I'm not even saying this is his fault because it wasn't. He was given no service second half. First half, if he plays 2 games like that, 2 halves like that, he gets a 10, without a fucking shadow of a doubt, right? But it was half a game, not his fault. I'll give him an 8.5. I think, no, I'll give him a 9. He made all the difference. We should have been more than 1 goal up in the first half. So it ain't his fault that we weren't.
And you know what? That was primarily down to him, actually, because he was the one that really posed the threat. You know, he was causing them all kinds of problems, but it just wasn't him just on the left-hand side. He was cutting inside and going cross-field as well. You know, he's all over the pitch with that ball, and he was drawing defenders and drawing fouls. I thought he was, as that last comment said, I thought he was outstanding. For me, like Summerville and Fernandez were, it's a toss-up between either of those two for me as man of the match, you know, and obviously Dinos as well. But I thought Summerville was brilliant. Again, I'm going to give him a 9. It's good to see, you know, it's good to see him, his form improving. So, yeah, I think easy 9, actually. Easy 9 for me.
Right. Very quickly, Pablo the kid, worked hard, low on quality, probably some of his knockdowns, I would imagine, would have led to some half decent. His positioning ain't bad. I'll give him that. His starting position ain't bad for some of these days. Where he miscontrolled that ball, he was in the perfect place to receive that ball. He'd made space for himself and everything. But then he just completely fucked it up.
Well, let me kind of give you my thoughts on him. You're right about maybe he showed. I'm not going to say he's a low quality player because we don't know yet. He's not been. You know, we haven't given him enough time. I think based on yesterday's performance, I think it did look like he was a bit low on quality. But the one thing that he possessed that arguably Nicholas Fulcrew didn't was work rate. And he worked his bollocks off yesterday. He genuinely did. And you know what? I'd much rather have a player out there working their socks off than someone who's got more quality that just stands around and doesn't really get stuck in or get involved. And that was Fulcrew. Fulcrew was probably a better striker in terms of his ability to finish and score goals or whatever, but he didn't work hard enough for me. I think, I think Pablo, I think he will do. You know, I really, really do.
Well, Pablo, right? He took a few digs. I think it was a head injury early on, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he wasn't pulling out of challenges though, Gal, and that's what I want to see. You know, I'm not comparing him to say John Hartson, but you know, John Hartson put his head in where it hurts. This geezer was doing that as well yesterday. He was getting stuck in, getting involved. So for work rate alone, I'm pleased with him. Quality, a little bit meh, but I think, and also that chance that he spurned. I'd give him a 7. Maybe I'm being a bit generous there, but I'll give him a 7 because I feel that there is promise there with him. That's the way I see it, and I can't score anyone lower than a 7. Today, I can't, for yesterday's performance. I just can't.
Listen, I'll be patient with him as well. I am. I'm treating him like a kid and being, praising him for good things. So yeah, give him a 7 for now. That's fine. I was hanging on 7.5, but he made a good point. So Taty, I think he's going to deliver a certain minimum standard in every game. And I think that's the work rate is always going to be there. It's whether the finishing is going to match the work rate. And yesterday it didn't. So I'd give him. I mean, he only had one chance really.
No, he had even more. He had a couple of good chances. He had one at the far post where I think he headed it wide. He had another one in the second half where it was kind of like a scissor kick that went wide of the post. He had a couple of good chances.
That was the worst scissor kick ever. Yeah, that was the worst scissor kick ever.
Yeah, but you know what? It shows he's a bit flamboyant. He tries the the difficult things. I don't mind that. I don't mind seeing a bit of that. For me, like he definitely edged Pablo's performance. So I'd give him probably a 7.5. I can't give him an 8. I'd give him a 7.5.
Yeah. Well, look, he looks like a player who he kind of belongs in the Premier League. If you want to use that term, he doesn't look out of place in the Premier League, is what I'm quite trying to say. Whereas
well, not yet,
Pablo kind of does at the moment, right? So yeah. All right. So let's talk about the substitutions. Guido, he came on. I'm not going to have a go at Guido. I think he done what he was asked to do, and he was neat and tidy. Didn't do anything wrong. I give Guido a 6.5 for 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I say I can't score anyone lower than a 7, but I suppose with him I probably can do because he weren't really on the pitch much. Do you know what? I'm feeling kind. I'm feeling kind.
20 minutes. You're scoring for 20 minutes, not for
all right. Well, he done okay.
Yeah,
he done okay. He done okay. He done the job that was, I suppose, asked for him. I'll give him a 6.5. I'm going lower for the subs here, Gal, because I know what you're saying. Scored him for the period of time they were on the pitch, but he didn't really do anything that stood out.
We won't mark Kilman. There's only one other sub that matters, and that's the match winner, Calum Wilson, who had 2 shots a goal in 6 minutes. Right. Won the game.
Forget the 6 minutes, mate. Forget about after he scored the goal, because bearing in mind his first touch was controlling the ball, second touch was taking a shot on goal, third touch was basically scoring a goal from the corner that he got from the keeper's from the defender's deflection. So, I mean, you know what? Just because he got the goal alone and he shows that cutting edge, he's got that goal scoring instinct. All of those things alone, like I'll give him an 8, and I judge him based on a cameo appearance of 6-7 minutes or whatever it was, not obviously a whole game. He was effective and he got in the right place at the right time and he scored the winning goal against Spurs. So I've got to give. Fuck it. Do you know what? I'm going to give him a 9, and based on that cameo of 7 minutes, because it made all the difference, Gal. It did make all the difference. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. 9, I'll settle for a 9. I think that is very fair. We don't win that game without him. Of course, he deserves a 9.
I like that. He's put down 3 very good touches, third touch of blood, 10. but you know what? It's kind of but you judge him on that. As you said, you judge him on the minutes. You judge him on the minutes. So I get it.
He did the same at Brighton. To be honest, he came on the pitch and literally with his first touch played bumming through with a sublime ball. I mean, the geezer knows what he's doing inside the penalty box.
Yeah,
he knows where the goal is.
He does, yeah. Give it. Do you know what? Give him a 9 anyway. You can't give him man of the match. But
we're going to start the Keep Wilson campaign. Keep Calum Wilson. Never thought I'd be saying that.
I'll write that on the back of my my red card that I've got as well. We'll be showing that up in. What's Wilson's number? He's a 9, isn't he? Is he number 9? I can't remember. What number is he? 11? 11. I can't remember his number. Yeah. Whatever it is, we need to keep hold of him. We really do.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Right, let's leave it there. Number 9 is number 9.
There you go.
So, that's it. We're done. Thank you, everybody. We got through it. Thanks for all your comments. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy work. If you've got any Spurs fans at work, you enjoy that on Monday morning. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. I've got a little treat for you at the end here that I'm going to share. Bear with it before I play the outro. You got to watch it for about 30 seconds, right? What it is, Archie Gray. He's the only Spurs player in the last 4 home games to be brave enough to come upstairs and speak to the prawn sandwich punters. They've blanked the prawn sandwich the last 3 games.
Prawn sandwich punters, yeah, of which you're one of them, Gal. Clearly,
well, exactly. So watch this, because you'll notice a guy in a sort of brown top filming him. That's my cousin Paul, right? So wait to 30 seconds in, because he's very down, Archie. All right. So enjoy this. Have a good weekend. See you soon.
We just got to keep working hard every day, and hopefully the results will come. So, do you usually want to play as soon as possible? Because obviously Tuesday is going to be the next game. We've got a Champions League game. After a result like that, is it I can't wait to get back out again, or is it I really need to have a little break until the next one?
No, I think it's, everyone wants to get back out on the pitch, and we've got a point to prove, and that's too right, because the results that have been happening, it's not good on our behalf from everyone at the club, and we want to put that right. So yeah.
Finally, I don't want you to take what happens personally. I know different players deal with losses like this.